Hi, wherever you are on this wonderful planet, and I'm with the amazing, awesome Estlin, who's come
Yeah,
back from Mexico. I was worried she was going to stay away, but she's come back. It's
I know.
good.
Yay! And the food was so beautiful there. And then after Mexico, I went up to Noosa for training. And now I've just been up to Canberra to see you, Harry, when Harry met Sally.
Okay, that was good. Yeah. And what was the best of those 3 trips?
Well, totally. Joe Dispenza was amazing, amazing, meditating like crazy. And second best was coming up and seeing you because that was just so awesome to just reconnect in person again. Love it.
Good, good. Likewise, yeah.
Mm.
So today we're going to talk about something which I think is really important and it can be life transforming for
Yeah.
everybody watching, and that is to adopt a gratitude practice. And we're going to go through what it can deliver you and why you should do it. And
Mm.
it's really,
I
really
think particularly in this day and age, Harry, that it's gratitude more than ever is needed in everybody's life because we've got so much stress in our lives and we get caught up on stuff and often we forget the big picture that let's just stay in the present moment and look at what we do have going well in our lives and reduce the stress, which is what gratitude does. Gratitude is all about being grateful.
So when you say we get stuck in things, what you're talking about, I think, is we get stuck in mental patterns
Yes.
around life experiences where, I might have stood up 50 years ago and forgotten what I was supposed to say and felt really embarrassed in front of 400 or 500 people and got traumatized by that. And then that is a script.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to happen to me again. That's going to happen to me again. So the interesting thing about gratitude is that if you can adopt a gratitude practice, you can actually shift your position on the optimism clock. You can shift your mindset
Mm-hmm.
to a more positive mindset, so that when you get confronted by something that has been scary in the past, that doesn't need to perpetuate.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. Because I'm coming from exactly the same perspective, and it's all about perception. And I liken to just use examples in everyday life. You could, you can be crying over spilt milk, or you can just actually put it back into perspective and see the positives out of it. So I do a lot of work with gratitude, particularly looking at gratitude for the past, for the present, and the future. And when you have gratitude for the future, that's all to do with manifesting, but just shifting into a positive mindset allows you to put things into perspective and see and be grateful for what you do have rather than, I'll only be happy when I have this, or things will only be okay when I get this extra cash in the door. And people get caught up with the stress and anxiety about the worry of the future as well. And when you sit with gratitude for what you already have right now, it helps waylay all of that stress and anxiety and just sit in the present moment and just be grateful for what you do have and allow other things that you're choosing to bring into your life to add to the greatness of what you already have. But we're very, very grateful for living in this country, and I'm very grateful for so many things in my life, and it really does help me shift the stress and the anxiety and the overwhelm sometimes and just peel it back. So taking perceived negative experiences, stopping, pausing, assessing it, and then saying, hang on, turning it into a positive. There's so many positives here. You link that in with the gratitude, and it's just awesome.
So there's a guy called Sean Anker, and I've got to acknowledge Eloise King in Sydney who introduced me to him. And Sean Anker was probably the first guy who identified that you can scientifically choose to be happy. And one of the ways you can do this is really simple. Is you adopt a gratitude practice every day.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't need to take more than a minute or two max, maybe even a minute. And you just think of 3 things to be grateful for over the last 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not the same thing. So it's not like I'm grateful for my beautiful family. You can't say that more than once.
Yeah.
That's done. So today it could be that I'm grateful that the sun is shining and the sky's blue.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had a lovely walk. And thirdly, I was able to snuggle up with my wife this morning before I got up.
Yeah.
They're 3 little gratitudes. Now, if I go on doing that every day for 21 days, what Sean Anker has shown scientifically is that changes your attitude to situations. So you're more likely to look at glass half full than a glass half empty. If you do this for just 21 days,
Yep.
you don't need to do it for the rest of your life. And I tried this, and yes, it did reset my optimism talk. So it's not an onerous thing to do. It's really powerful.
It's really, and guess what? In my journal, my newly published journal, every day there's a space to write down 3 things that you're grateful for. And it's the 30-day journal with the idea of resetting some behavioural patterns there. So, and the way of thinking. It's, like there's so many, it's been proven, so many benefits that we know about being grateful, such as, you have better relationships with people, particularly with your own, personal relationships, because rather than being ticked off or being triggered, you sit with much more gratitude for them being in your life and accepting things as well. From a physical point of view, it's shown that people experience fewer aches and pains, and they just feel healthier when they're sitting with gratitude. That was in a study in 2012 that I've just found. Improving psychological health, of course, what you were talking about, but it really reduces those toxic emotions that can come up, when you're anger, resentment, all that sort of thing. And, just and helps you accept them more and not be so frustrated about things that have happened, and just put it into perspective. It reduces aggression, improves self-esteem, increases your mental strength as well. They found in a study in 2006 that Vietnam War vets who had higher levels of gratitude experienced lower rates of post-traumatic stress disorder. I thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah, because it reduces cortisol.
Yeah. And also the same thing, what was that? From September 11, that gratitude helps people be more resilient following all those terrorist attacks that happened. So, there's so much to be said for sitting with gratitude in all aspects of your life, and it just makes you more peaceful. You're not so uptight and worried or anxious or angry or, just...
It improves your relationship with yourself primarily.
That's exactly right. I like that one.
And therefore changes your response to a stressor.
Yep.
Because a stressor, it doesn't impose stress unless you respond to it.
Yeah,
the wrong way.
But once again, your perception of it as well. So I use gratitude for manifesting, and the aligning gratitude. When first of all, you choose what you want to manifest into your life, and then you align it with having the gratitude as if you already have received it now, and then you link that in with the heightened emotion of what it feels like. So, for example, going on a holiday in a couple of months to a seaside resort or something like that, and I'm choosing to bring that into my life. I've got the gratitude as if I'm already there, lying on the beach having a cocktail and watching the blue skies and the waves coming in, and how it's making me feel is just so relaxed, peaceful, happy, and just so joyous. And then that's bringing gratitude for the future, and manifesting it and bringing it in now, as well as, of course, having gratitude for past experiences that I've learned from, divorce, gratitude for it because I learned lots of things out of it, made me a stronger person, for example. And then I'm very grateful that I'm sitting here recording with you, because it just makes my heart sing, Harry.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, you spend a lot of time in the gym. You spend more time in the gym in a year than I would do in 10 lifetimes. But what you're doing is building muscle and building physical performance. But gratitude is like gym for the positive mind. It is
like
practice makes it stronger, and you do have to practice to strengthen this. It's not going to be there unless you practice it.
It's so true, because that's what I say to people all the time. You've got to exercise not just your body, but also your mind and your soul, because otherwise you're not using that muscle, and what happens? It just sort of sits there and wastes away. So you need to keep it active. Really, really, and it's, that whole 21 days, create a new habit, whatever. I really like that with the gratitude, that it's shifting, and so you're in that sort of way of thinking. It's very
absolutely. And there's an interesting woman called Candace Pert, who's a neuroscientist. Have you heard of her? Joe might have mentioned her. So she showed that when you think something, you create emotions, the emotions then trigger peptides in the
Mm-hmm.
brain, and that then changes behavior. So she talks about this as, she defined this phrase, molecules of emotion.
Right, right.
So this, thoughts are really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Benjamin Burchard had a really interesting practice where he suggested, if you're struggling with this and it's something you find difficult, write down 5 positive questions to ask yourself.
Mm.
So, what makes me happy? What could make me laugh?
Yeah.
What have I got to be grateful for? And so on. Just 5 questions which you ask yourself every day.
Mm-hmm.
And then also write down 3 positive characteristics that you ideally have, which you're going to work towards. So it might be that you're joyful, that you make people laugh, that you're full of life, whatever it is for you. And then you put that on your phone, remind yourself every day, and that reminder, that reinforcement will focus you to build those as strengths, and then they will become part of you.
Mm. Love it.
Really simple practices, and that practice then builds neural connections in the brain.
So is that like affirmations?
It's just more like a positive reinforcement. It's more like a structure to positively reinforce the characteristics you want to build in yourself.
Yeah. So
if you do that, then when you get a shock, you're more likely to default back to that because you practiced it, because you've strengthened it.
Yeah.
So, if you say, I'm going to be happy, and then you're in a situation where it makes you angry or frustrated,
Yeah.
you're more likely to switch to the happiness.
Mm.
So I had a very interesting example of this the other day. I got gastro for the first time in my life.
You never had it before.
Never had it before.
Oh, it's a crappy situation.
Anyway, what happened was that I got really pissed off with somebody the day before. I mean, really pissed off.
Mm.
And I didn't realize what had happened. I couldn't work out what I'd eaten or what.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm doing the swap with a Qigong practitioner, and he just said straight away, "They gave you the shits."
Yeah. Literally.
And I thought, yes. And I thought, well, I hadn't been aware of getting just submerged in this frustration and then anger. But it was a lesson for me and my body. Great lesson.
And aren't you grateful that, now you understand why it happened? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
that's
that's
about,
that's like taking a perceived negative and turning it into a positive.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. Reacting differently.
You're basically reshaping the neural pathways in the brain, aren't you?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So, that I've got a little model here. So the first step is you've got to start noticing your thoughts. Not in a manic way, but just notice them. Dip in and notice them, particularly in the negative ones. Okay. So that allows you to pause, and then when you notice a negative one, just stop it. Stop the thought.
Yep.
And then once you've stopped it, you've got a choice. You can choose to redirect it to something more positive, but it does have to be achievable. So look, if we're obese and we're thinking, I'm fat, no one loves me, it's no use then saying, well, I'm thin and skinny, because you're not. But, so it's got to be achievable.
Could be realistic.
Okay?
Yeah.
Or if you've got no friends, it's not like I'm the most attractive guy in the world. I've got all these friends, maybe I'll just get one friend.
Yeah.
Little achievable steps. And all of this will allow you to pause. It'll put you in power. It'll give you purpose, and it'll build happiness.
Love it.
Gratitude is the key part of it. Gratitude is one of the cogs that allows you to do this. The gratitude practice allows you to move on the optimism clock so that you can replace those negative thoughts, which we all have, with a positive one.
Love it. And I had something very similar as well. when you are looking at things in a more positive way and you have gratitude for it, overall you get more confidence in yourself and you're happier in life. When you're sitting with gratitude and then you've got more heightened emotions, so feeling more of the joyful ones, not the lower, anger, frustration, fear, or that sort of stuff, then you're going to have better control of your life and put things more into perspective. And when you're sitting with those more heightened emotions, love, joy, happiness, that sort of thing, having fun, and you're looking at things in a much more positive way, you get more clarity to see things more clearly and then sit with peace, calm, and be more relaxed. And overall, then you're able to, if you've got those heightened emotions, the positivity and the gratitude all aligned, you're able to manifest in a much more positive way and choose to bring in more positive experiences into your life. For a little bit of what I was talking about manifesting, because I get a bit obsessed about it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's right. Manifesting is incredibly powerful. You don't always know when it's going to be fulfilled or how.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
That's the whole beauty about it. You don't think about when or how it's going to happen. It just magically appears, and in ways that you could never imagine most of the time.
I remember walking on the Parkdale beach, in the cold wind, manifesting that I wanted to move somewhere warmer.
And then you ended up in Darwin.
Yeah, we did. So my 3 steps are perceive your stresses, problem solve solutions, and then practice gratitude daily.
Yeah, fantastic. That's a really good point. Just practice. Yeah, grab my journal. So mine are very similar.
3 P's, yeah. 3 P's.
The 3 P's, yeah. I've done the 3P model before. So my 3 steps is 1, have awareness of what's going on. And then just sort of stop and pause, like you said. I literally had the same words as you did. And then 2, assess the positives out of it, put it into perspective, put it in a positive light. And then 3, accept with gratitude that your life is awesome just the way it is, that everything's okay today.
Yeah, good one. Even though the police were around this morning.
I know, but
in your case.
Yeah, and then no one was hurt, and nothing great
right.
stolen. So yeah, so I'm very grateful for the police, to be perfectly honest, because they came in.
That's right. Yeah. So there's there's a whole field of positive psychology around this. So Joe Dispenza is one of the disciples that you went over to Mexico to see.
Absolutely.
There's Brendan Burchard, there's Martin Seligman, there's Brené Brown, there's Sean Anker. They've done TED Talks, they've written books. But if you just Google positive psychology and you'll get the masters of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I entitled today Attitude with Gratitude. So if you come at everything with gratitude, you're in a much better place.
That's good. I didn't get that. Awesome. Good one, Sally. Well, I'm feeling light in my heart after this conversation.
And that's it. You just do feel lighter when you're dealing with more, when you're sitting with gratitude, you're sitting with the more higher level emotions, the nice ones, the feeling complete, or not complete, but just calm, peaceful, and letting stuff go that doesn't need worrying about, or getting angry, getting the shits. You don't need to do that.
I think feeling complete is a good phrase, because if you're under stress, you don't feel complete, you feel intruded on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should all be feeling complete much more often.
Yeah, and and just being grateful for being here, and for being you. I'm very grateful that you're you, Harry.
Look at that blue sky. Can you
can't quite
too
see,
contrasting.
but I saw
Beautiful blue sky.
It was so blue. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Now it's overcast, cloudy.
Oh, yeah. That's Melbourne for you.
Anyway, darling, I look forward to chatting with you again next week.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And we will be on this channel same time-ish next week.
Fantastic. Can't wait.
Catch you then. Bye.
Bye.